Hello,
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you? Man, my wind is high. How old are you?
29. I'll be 30 in June.
So, what are we talking about?
Um, well, I joined your live later, but I just wanted to give a from a women's perspective, in agreement with you. Like maybe, like I heard the other young lady saying, a lot of women find your delivery to be harsh, and it's
Hmm.
I saw you on Shade Room, and literally I cannot go into a room where there's not, like, if I meet up with my friends, if I meet up with my sisters, your name comes up. And so I was like, oh my
God damn.
god. So it's been funny. I have 4 children and I'm happily married,
Hmm.
and my husband and I sit and listen to you, and most of it's laughter. I think the
Hmm.
whole you have 3 lives and you're on live number one. I think that was like maybe a week or so ago. We were in tears laughing. I've been with my husband since I was 21, and from a woman's perspective, ladies, I just want to say he's not lying to you. And I sit and I ask my husband, long before even hearing about you, very gruesome and personal questions, and I'm very honest with myself about what I need to change about myself, or what do you like
Hmm.
about this. And so listening to you, I'm like, maybe I just think like a guy, or is Kevin just not all that wrong and more right? But it's women don't want to hear a man telling them. And uh, growing up with a Puerto Rican Dominican mom, and then being around, and then my father's black, but then being around my black side of the family, I do see the difference in, for lack of better words, how a black mother raises their daughters that grows up in a single home versus a Hispanic woman that
Yeah,
raises
let
their
me let
child.
me let me let me step in front of this bullet for you right now, because there are all kind of bullets coming at you right as soon as you said that. Definitely, here's what it comes down to, and I don't blame black women for this.
No, and I
I don't
identify.
blame
I'm
black women.
100%
I
black.
don't. I when you don't, it's we're not used to seeing black men in a position of respect, responsibility, and being right. So the things that I say are controversial more so because I'm a black man. Versus if they were like some of the things, if I were Dr. Phil or Joe Rogan or somebody else, would be more easily acceptable than coming from me. And I can't change that.
Hmm.
But the fact of the matter is, we need to be able to change that because it needs to become more commonplace to where our women can see our men on the same level as they see anybody else.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, I take a lot of stuff. I don't. Yeah, I know my name is everywhere now.
Have you sorry to cut you off. Have you ever considered? I heard you, I think, just tell another young lady, you purposely have the delivery that you have. Like you want to step on some toes. Like
It's
you're not
necessary.
willing to.
It's necessary at times. It's necessary. I don't do anything without a reason. So I'm never just doing stuff to be provocative or
Right.
it's always thought out. So um, most people don't recognize that if I'm doing something, just give me a second, I'll get there. If you watch my content, sometimes it may seem like I'm all over the place. Like, what the hell is he talking about? Next thing you know, 13 minutes later, I tie all the points together.
Hmm.
Uh, my ultimate point is to get women to understand where the very men that they want are coming from, and get men to understand that just like we got bad information, women got bad information too. And in order to get anywhere, we're both going to have to give each other a certain amount of grace and mercy and good faith because we're building this thing while we're flying it and we're all broken.
Mm.
And good faith is more important than anything else. And if if both men and women in our community can start looking at each other with as human beings with fundamental respect, like every other group of people, we're far more willing to give each other a chance versus just writing each other off.
That,
So
that and selflessness is the word that I would use. Like, if both of us are selfless with each other, then you have nothing but room to win. He's doing everything for you, and you're doing everything for him, and that's what's lacking heavily in our
I
group.
would I
Heavily
would
selflessness.
I would take and that's like that's a 201 or a 301 class. I'm taking English 101 right now.
Oh, okay.
Simple respect. Can you get respect from men and can you smile at brothers? Okay, we got history 101, English 101, uh science for non-majors, just the basics. Let's just the basics. We can get to our coursework and our degree path after we get the basics out of the way, because we didn't get it, and there's no way for adults to get that. I'm not willing to. I'm not willing to write off an entire group because we didn't get it where we should have got it.
Right. No, I agree. And I think there's a huge, even talking to my friends, and like I said, I was just out having drinks with my sisters, and the men and the women brought your name up, and I was like, that's just saw you maybe the end of March on Shade Room, and then I saw you more in April, and I was like, okay, follow him and see what he's talking about. And so we've enjoyed it. But then I hear even my own sisters, they didn't like the delivery. But when I started breaking it down, what you're really saying, I'm like, you have to get it's stinging because he's stepping on your toes. He's talking about you, like what you're saying to the other person. But a lot of times women think they want marriage. They think they want the relationship, but really you want a wedding. You want a person that's going to take care of you, but you don't really want him telling you anything. You don't want him to tell you what to do. You don't want him really as a part of your life. I've even had friends joke and say, I want the husband, but get me a separate house because.
Oh, I had somebody I was going to bring on the show for that. And what was it? Carrie Hilson? That she was in the news recently talking about, I could be married and live separately. And you know what? Look, I'm not foolish enough to believe that we're going to go back to Mayberry RFD. They're going to be different kinds of relationships. Yeah, but at the end of the day, we got to be together in some form. So it's funny that you see me everywhere. That's crazy. Well, thank you for watching. I appreciate it.
I didn't know who you were.
Go ahead.
Huh?
Go ahead. I was saying thank you for watching. I was about to move out.
Alrighty.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thanks.
Oh my. So let me talk about that. So I mentioned Carrie Hilson was put in some media saying that she could see herself married and living separately. And I've said that I know people who are divorced living in the same house. Look, this is about a game. This is a game of inches. Getting to life not by yourself. However you want to make your arrangement, but can you get together with a man to where you're having a better outcome? I would never try to make it seem like I got the prescription for anybody. I just want to I just want to open the door to have the conversation to get the outcomes people say they want. All right, folks, that is going to do it for tonight. I am a little sleepy and I got some work to do. I'm going to upload a video that I think you guys need to watch. Let me make sure before I cut this off. I got an interview I'm doing tomorrow, so I got to get prepared for that. This has been fun, but I got to run. I like Instagram Lives. Let me turn this back on. Oh, I got another 15 minutes. What am I doing? Turn on commenting. If you want to go on the show, I got another 10 or 15 minutes that I can go. Look, I know my delivery at times bothers some folks, but most people who say it's my delivery can't say that they watched a show from end to end. Most people who watch at least one show from end to end understand that you usually are seeing me, it's out of context. And it's usually, if you're seeing me on places like this room or that room or this website, it's meant to be provocative. But that's not all it is. Eddie Murphy told a joke when Eddie Murphy did a comedy bit called Raw. And he had a conversation with Bill Cosby. And Bill Cosby was like, you cannot get on stage and say the things you say. And he's like, damn, I felt a little offended. He's like, man, he made it seem like I get up on the stage and just cuss. Dick, he's like, I do manage to tell some jokes. And that's the point. Between the barbs and the PhDs and the dog sounds and the taps, there's a lot of stuff. But it's there for the people who are willing to challenge themselves to listen to something that may be a little bit different. Guys, thank you guys. I'm going to end it for tonight. I think it's been good. I think it's been great. You guys are going to really love. You guys are going to really love what you guys see uh, tomorrow and this weekend. Mother's Day weekend is coming up. Make sure you holler at your mom. Make sure you holler at your mother, and don't forget to get your mama some flowers or a card. Uh, do what you got to do. Say hi to moms. Till next time, peace out. One. How old are you?
Me, I'm 25.
Okay. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. What do you want to talk about?
Um, I want to talk about how to make these concepts more digestible for my age group. I date someone who's older, and he is the one who really brought me to uh, your content, and it took me a while to really accept what you're saying. I know that I'm a rather sensitive person, so a lot of times I'm like, he's so mean, but like after seeing how women respond to you and really catching on to the patterns, I'm like, okay. And so it's taken me a while, but now I really kind of
When you
see.
say when you say digestible, what do you mean?
I think that women in my generation, especially people who want to be married and have successful relationships, have a lot to learn and a lot to gain from the things that you say, but get so caught up in maybe what comes off as insulting or, I don't know, intimidating, that they miss the rest of what they would otherwise agree with or see as valuable information.
Okay. Uh, it's meant to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because your generation has been told you can have everything and there are no limits.
Mm-hmm.
And your world is your oyster. It's called a pattern interrupt.
Mm-hmm.
It's meant to shock you and get your attention to realize that guess what? You've been lied to. You can't have it all. You have to make choices. There's a movie called The Matrix. Came out in 99, 2000. I don't know if you watched it before.
My older boyfriend showed it to me during the pandemic, so it's
All
fresh.
right.
Yeah.
So when Neo was given a choice between the blue pill, which is the good feeling, go back to sleep and believe whatever you want, or the red pill, do you remember what happened to him? The shock of
Yeah.
that system, waking up, oh, but in order to become who he needed to become, he needed to wake up.
Mm-hmm.
If the media messages have been telling women, don't worry about it, postpone marriage, later, and you can do whatever you want, so on and so forth. Why do you think that message exists? Because one, it keeps more consumers in the market. Two,
Mm-hmm.
women spend more than men. The messages are for the 73% of women who spend the dollar. So I get it. The message is shocking. It's because you guys are more asleep than any other generation. My generation didn't realize how asleep we were. Then the next generation is more asleep than that, and the next generation is more asleep than that. My generation is just now starting to come around and say, you know what? We didn't know these things. So the need to shock your generation into reality with Cosmopolitan lying to you ladies to sell you tampons, vacation homes, pianos, and everything else while those women were married and had their kids is important.
Mm-hmm.
So I have moderated my message quite a bit. I moderated it quite a bit. And I do my level best to try to have one-on-one conversations. But if you think of the shock as a result of how bad the problem is. Have you ever
Mm-hmm.
had to have you ever been in a hospital before?
Yeah.
A broken bone or anything?
I had a surgery. I've never broken a bone.
Did you have to did you have to actually go under?
Yeah.
Did they give you pain shots and everything afterwards?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. The painkiller they gave you after the surgery matched the level of pain you had. That's the strength of the painkiller. But as you got better, you went from strong narcotics, opioids, to lesser, to eventually to Tylenol or to ibuprofen, to where you could just kind of get over it. But as you healed, the strength of the medication decreased.
Mm-hmm.
But the strength of the painkiller was a response to how hurt you were.
Yeah.
That's what my message is. I reflect what I get back.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, I think it makes sense. That's why you're able to have like more successful conversation with someone who maybe like gets it compared to the people who I think really could use the message more, but I feel like they miss it. It's almost like I feel like you are preaching to the choir, because the women who come on here and have unsuccessful conversations with you, I feel like are the ones who probably have the most to gain. And so I'm just wondering, like, are the people who don't have somebody to keep showing them, whether it's your content or anyone else, like you can't be the only one doing this. Like it's in the music, it's in the media, it's in how we're raised. Like I have my own story about how I feel like my mother's decisions have like impacted my lives, or I see my friends who were raised by single parents, single women. I'm starting to see the patterns myself, but I just feel like, it can't just be a small group of people who tune in and get it. Like if it's everywhere, like I just feel like it's a really big
Well,
problem that one person
but
like your fix.
but that's true. And I didn't go looking for this.
Yeah.
Like I said Monday, I'm the hero you got. I may not be the one you want. I'm the one you got. But look at how far it's come since May of last year. It's getting out. And let me back up. Number one, the person I'm talking to is the person I'm talking to. But what you don't see is the people who are at home saying, you know what? I didn't realize what my thoughts sounded like coming out of someone else's mouth until I heard it. I
Yeah.
get letters from women saying that, oh my God, I saw myself in her and I did not like it. So it's a teaching experience. That's one path. Another path is just like most, it shocked me, it bothered me, but then they keep coming back. And it's like, I didn't like you, but then I finally got over it. And it's not just me, because you said your boyfriend brought you here. Well, that's one person who's been affected by the message.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just the person who's in front right now, but I don't need to be in front. I just want more conversations to be had so we can get to better outcomes. I said this a long time ago. It's really not about me. But I have taken that. So people who are watching know I have taken that into consideration. People like, well, the tone. Can you moderate the tone? I don't know how often you watch, but there are times where I'm really struggling to try to keep.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's just, you touch on sensitive things. Like shortly before I joined the live, I was having an argument about not an argument, but I was debating with him, like, I'm an 8. Because you were earlier talking about the, divided by your body and your face. And I'm like, well, so, I mean, it's just, you sometimes are talking about things that are polarizing, especially for the individual.
Yes. And the thing is, unfortunately, we have to find a way, especially in our community, to have conversations about sensitive, polarizing topics. Because if we don't, we won't get any better. I mean, I'm an image consultant, for Christ's sakes. I'm an image and style and fragrance guy. And I have people from that side like, why do you talk about relationships? They talk about them too. They just don't get as deep as I do. They would not dare to talk about some of the topics, and they certainly wouldn't inject race into it. And I've been doing this for a long time, and it's just now starting to catch on. But sometimes when you don't necessarily pick what your purpose is. And apparently I have a talent for it. So what I'm looking to do is have more people realize that it's not here to tear anything down or hurt anybody. It's actually here to help men get the outcomes they want. And what that really is to get women to start to understand that we're different and we get nowhere without each other.
Yeah.
So just like you and I had this conversation, how long have you been watching my content?
Probably for the past 3 months. And I will say that I can thank you because some of what I struggle with in the relationship that I'm in is the person who I date is an entrepreneur, and I'm in a really corporate job. So for me,
yeah.
Yeah. So I have this image of what I want in life. I'm a little bit young at 25, just having graduated and have this mindset of, I worked hard, I should get this, I deserve this. And dating an entrepreneur,
Delayed gratification, can't spend the money just yet. Mm-mm.
yeah, or just, sometimes it's, well, here's this idea that they're working towards, and I don't know, like, how feasible is this? Or, I have a lot of certainty on my end, but there's uncertainty on their end, and just feeling like, see people.
Well, let me give you a different standpoint. First of all, imagine you've been watching me for 3 months, but a year ago, you probably would have thrown something at the TV. That's a testament to how far we've come. That you can even get to the point to where you can even contact me. Because a year ago, it would have been like, who the shut it down. But going to corporate America, let me say something. I come from corporate America. And one of the things I realized in my career is I sold in excess of $45 million in products and services. And I thought I was safe. But then I realized that after the 70% weight, I realized that I'm really not safe, because every job I worked at, people were getting fired. There were downsizing, there was bankruptcies. And the longer you work for a company, the more you cost. They can bring somebody in. Working for someone is actually the most vulnerable thing to do long term. So you being corporate and him being an entrepreneur, how can you take your corporate structure knowledge to help him improve his entrepreneurial way of doing things? And then how can you take his entrepreneurial knowledge to learn how to get away? See, then that's the difference between you being corporate and him being an entrepreneur. Now at least the conversation is being had. Because eventually, what vertical, what industry are you in?
I'm in deals.
Okay. With that deals, sales?
So mergers and acquisitions. So
M&A, okay.
Yeah.
So most people in M&A start because I'm a professional salesperson. So M&A, consulting and angel investors, people I do consults with daily, you guys complement each other more than anything else. It's just, can you work together and build for a lifetime?
And that's exactly where we're at. I sometimes feel insecure about where his financial future is headed, just because, again, it's whatever he does is what it is. But he often tells me, like, you're in a position to help me get to where we're trying to go. Like,
Are you a Christian? Were you raised Christian?
I was raised Christian.
Are you familiar with Bishop T.D. Jakes? Bishop T.D. Jakes often talks about when he was starting out in West Virginia. He's an extremely successful man now, very rich. But listen to the stories about how poor he was coming up. And he told a story about when the car broke down, and the car was about having his wife walk with him. And as broke as they were in rural West Virginia, she still did her duty and responsibility to her husband, who was down bad. That's why she gets anything she wants now. See, you're the security now.
Yeah.
He's the risk, but it's not a risk. He's the investment. When let's assume you guys get married and he starts a business and it fails, because most entrepreneurs fail 1 or 2, 3 times before something works.
Yeah.
But then when it works and you've been doing your thing for 15 or 20 years, you reach that glass ceiling or whatever. There's an ability to come and take these skill sets and take it over here to where you employ your own children and employ your own community, to where you have the option to stay here or there. That's actually the smartest way. One in, one out. Because then you're not beholden to anybody.
Yeah.
And see, the beginning of having all this conversation is having a woman and a man sit down and talk about important things up front that are contentious, that are scary, that are sensitive, in a way to where you feel safe and he feels safe to have these conversations, and everybody's not holding their cards close to their chest and not willing to trust anybody with information. This program has shown how to have difficult conversations, and it's a skill we did not learn.
Yeah.
So I think this is where we are right now, and people will see the conversation we had, and they'll learn from it, and we'll get better. But we're still gonna make mistakes. I'm human. I'm gonna fail a lot, but we're gonna fail moving forward. And how long have you guys been seeing one another?
About a year and a half. We met on LinkedIn, so that's a pretty funny story.
Time to go ahead and pull the trigger.
Yeah. And interestingly enough, we've actually both seen you in person. So we're like in your backyard. So
there you go. Time to go ahead and pull the trigger and formalize it. See, as I don't want to say the names of the people I was just talking to, but they're Black business people. And I think we need to hear more from our business class and less from our, no offense to our entertainers, musicians, athletes, entertainers. We need to hear more from our business class so we understand the investment. It's not risk, it's investment. It's only risk if you don't plan on being there the long term. It's an investment if you plan on being there.
Investment in being in business?
Yeah. Well, like you mentioned his business.
Right.
Whatever, even from failures, trust me, go back and watch some of my videos go back to the earliest videos and look at how but there was all investment to get here.
Mm-hmm.
But I would not have had the benefit of the ROI now if I had not been willing to fail in public. They keep pulling my pictures and roasting me left and right. Failures. But what they don't talk about is what I'm talking about now in the results. And I don't worry about it because I knew back then why I was doing what I'm doing now. And see, that's the power when a man and a woman really get on the same page and start talking about practical stuff, pragmatic stuff. That's our true nature. CIA, FBI complimenting one another versus I got this, you got that, and I'm good, you good. Yeah, we both be good, but we're not great alone. We're better together. So appreciate it, sis. Have a good one.
Yes, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right. So, look, you will never hear me try to act like I'm a messiah or I know everything. I know what I know, and I stay heavily in my lane. When it's time to start talking about finance and this and that and real estate, I'll bring on professionals, and I'll shut up. I talk about what I know, but when it's time to bring it up, and as this continues to grow, we have to learn how to have contentious conversations in good faith. And the more we see that practice and model, I think more often than not, people will learn how to do it. I have faith that most people can learn how to have a better outcome. There are extremes on either side, but for the most part, I think that everybody wants to have the outcomes they want to have. It's just the question is, the hell is she here? Can we start moving? Let me say this. Can we start moving on offense instead of defense? Can we start moving in fear and start moving in possibility? And see, that's why I keep on playing the PhD and all this other kind of stuff. Yeah, sure, there are a lot of women. There are women out here who are getting it done, but getting it done by yourself is a different life than getting it done when you have somebody and a family and a support system. Whatever your choices are, they're your choices, but you should at least be able to make the choice to do it by yourself if you choose to, or the choice to marry. That's why I said I'm a feminist. I know people get pissed off, but feminist really just means women have the ability to make a choice. That's what it comes down to. All right, let's see. Turn the comments back on and see who next. Oh, there was a request up there. Okay, I don't see who that is. If I don't see your face, I can't let you in. And to try to make the message more palatable, yeah, always. It's always a work in progress. I'll never be the one saying I got the answer. You got to respond to the market. Only a fool ignores his market. I'd be a fool to sit back and say, no, I'm going to just do it this way. No, too shiesty. They're like poo shiesty. She got her finger up. Uh-oh. Okay. I can't see this stuff. So if you want to jump on, let me know. What's all with these shiesties? Brr, brr. Have we talked? I think we have. I'm not sure. Pooh shiesty. All right, so here we go. What do you rank? How do you rank yourself? How do you know what your SMV is? Ask. Ask some men. Honestly, ask guys. If you really want to know, ask. And yes, there's a subjective component, but in general, in general, eights, nines, and tens, or eights, nines, and tens, wherever they are. Adjustable sixes, the ability to go from cute to pretty, the most flexible category.